On today's show, crowds, food, and the fanfare of the great Minnesota get-together. Minnesota Bound celebrates life at the fair. Find out what's new in our own Minnesota Bound cabin. Plus, gift ideas from our favorite outdoor artists, including this guy, a storyteller who shares his love of fishing with the State Fair crowd.
Minnesota Bound, presented by Connecticut Water Treatment Systems.
Hi everybody, Bill, Millie, and I welcome you to Minnesota Bound from the Minnesota State Fair.
Oh my gosh, things are exciting here. We are set up in front of the Minnesota Bound cabin, which is actually full of all kinds of new gifts and cool little trinkets.
Sure is, and I'm going to give you a tour in just a bit, but first, you're off to tour the North Woods. You better get to work.
I'm out of here. Had to lose that Minnesota Bound sweatshirt. It is summer weather at the fair, and when it comes to life outdoors at the fair, there's a lot to see. Let's go see what we can find. All right, so food is always a big deal for me at the fair. Yeah, I like to eat. New this year, these guys, they're walleye lollipops. Giggles gave me the secret scoop. 17 secret spices, of course, whipped up by him. And then the walleyes, caught by me, of course. Need to have something to drink too. New this year at Giggles, oh my gosh, rhubarb shanty. Absolutely unbelievable. And you should know this rhubarb actually comes from my own mother's old rhubarb garden. That's not true. Down at the old CCC, Department of Natural Resources building, there is all kinds of stuff to see, from the wildflowers and the bees. They've got parks and trail information, wildlife. They even have this Keep It Clean initiative, which is aimed at us cleaning up our lakes at the end of the ice season. We actually just did a story on it. Can't believe all the junk people leave behind. It's no secret, every year you'll find me here at the DNR fish pond. The DNR says 75% of these fish have been to the fair before, and about 25% of them are new. And then right over there, there's that one guy with a paintbrush and an easel.
My name is Kickley. This is my third year painting live at the fair. Last year my focus was food. This year will be people. It's fun. I love doing it. It makes people smile, makes me smile, so.
That's Francie, my wildland firefighting buddy. She represents what I would consider as an expanding story here at the fair and in the state of Minnesota. You know, the DNR's got the old fire truck, they've got the gear, the fire prevention building, even the fire tower. But the point is they're talking about wildland firefighting and it as an issue here in our state right now. This is an interesting area. It's a story you'll hear more about. Now it's time to eat again.
Lots of delicious bites here in the North Woods. Good job, Bill. Okay, coming up next, it's time to take a tour of the Minnesota Bound log cabin. I'm going to show you all the new gadgets and gear inside.
Minnesota Bound is brought to you by Connecticut Water Treatment Systems, Coors Light, Ice Castle Fish House and RV, and by White Bear Lake Superstore.
Welcome to the Minnesota Bound log cabin. This is always my favorite part of the State Fair show, giving you an inside sneak peek tour of all the goodies inside the Minnesota Bound log cabin. First, we're going to start with what is new in the cabin this year. And first, I have some exciting news. I am launching my own health and wellness product. It's called the Daily Wild. It's a daily fruits and greens powder that you can mix with water, put in your smoothies, and it has the antioxidant power of 20 servings of fruits and vegetables per scoop. You're gonna love it, your kids will love it. I've been taking this product for over 10 years, excited to bring it to the market. I can't wait for you to try it. You may wanna double up on the scoops if you're having lots of deep fried treats here at the fair, though. I'll give you that tip. We love featuring local artists here in the Minnesota Bound Log Cabin, and this year we have some items by Adam Turman, who is an artist, muralist, and screen printer who creates colorful takes on Minnesota iconic items. So here we have the loon. We all love loons, right? And here's a really unique hat by Adam, who has some very famous Minnesota icons, including Paul Bunyan, Mr. Pillsbury Doughboy, and of course, it's our State Fair mascot. Those of us who love the outdoors also love supporting our wildlife and of course our feathered friends. And here we have some chickadee and wren handmade rustic birdhouses by a couple that go by the name of Bacon Square Farms. I have to tell you, I like the name of their farm. Aren't these cute? Also new at the log cabin this year is this t-shirt with our iconic log cabin. Of course, you see Minnesota Bound Raven or Minnesota Bound Millie sitting at the front porch there. And these were designed by Kate Hansen, whose company is called Cabin Number 4. And Kate recently started her battle with breast cancer in 2022. And for every t-shirt sold, $1 will go to the American Cancer Society. So great purchase for a good cause. We have the classic Minnesota Bound logo t-shirts back in the log cabin due to popular demand, and I have to say the new color pink is one of my favorites. We also have red, blue, gray, and we can't forget the Minnesota Bound flannels because fall season is right around the corner. Moving on to another classic and probably our most iconic items here at the log cabin are our Raven plush puppy and also our Millie plush puppy. And parents, as promised, all of the puppies here at the log cabin are housebroken, so you can pick one up stress-free. If you're looking for some reading during your spare time, my dad, Ron Schara, recently wrote a book. It's called Ron Schara's Minnesota, Mostly True Tales of Life Outdoors. Notice it says mostly true. However, it covers some of my dad's favorite and most fond adventures in the outdoors. There's stories about Raven, there's stories about my sister's hunting adventures, and there's even stories of my fishing adventures with my father. Yes, that's a picture of me holding a string of crappies with a haircut I would love to forget. Thanks, Dad. After a long, hot, sweaty day at the fair, you might want to grab yourself one of the Minnesota Bound homemade soaps on your way out. These are handmade in Minnesota and they're full of essential oils as well as avocado, olive, and coconut oil, guaranteed to make your skin smell fresh and smooth. We are all about supporting our native plant species and pollinators here at Minnesota Bound. So if you stop on by the cabin, feel free to pick up a pollinator seed mix for free. These are provided by Minnesota Native Landscapes, and we would be happy if you were to spread some love in your backyard. Last but not least, it's a crowd favorite. It just wouldn't be the same without the loon tune. So if you're in the Northwoods area, all you have to do is listen to the loon call to come stop by the Minnesota Bound Log Cabin.
Coming up, we discover the latest in fun fair food. Not for you, but guess who?
And these are all homemade.
Closed captioning provided by Star Bank.
Welcome back to the Minnesota Bound State Fair Special. Can you believe we've been here at the State Fair 30 years now?
We're getting old.
We are.
You know, there are so many stories based on the things in our cabin, but I really love this one about this little fishing bait. And it's not so much about the bait itself, but more so the person behind it. Jesse Gerhard never passed on a chance to cast. Although, these days, seems he has less time for fishy fun.
I wanted to be intentional about telling a story, about saying that what someone else thought was trash, someone with some skill could be made into something new.
Jesse's story starts in the back alleys of downtown Minneapolis,
A couple more boards there.
where this outdoorsman loves to hunt.
We're gonna steal those ones right there for sure. It's like an old, like, door or something.
Jesse makes the rounds behind businesses where he has permission to snoop.
You can take and cut it into a lot of strips. Score, score, score. Around railroad tracks and in industrial parts of the city, there's just a lot of lumber everywhere.
Wood that eventually ends up back at Jesse's shop.
This is some wood from a barn in Lake Elmo. We have beautiful wood here. You don't need to go all the way to Africa to get some piece of wood.
Jesse recycles the old into the new.
In the beginning, it was like I made a canoe out of the waste from that. I made a paddles out of waste from that. I made some nets. Out of the waste from that, I made some fishing lures left over.
Those fishing baits, the reason for our visit.
So I have Bass Champ, but I have 5 different versions. So it goes from, what is this, about 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4. I wanted to make a bait that had a bunch of weight in the front. So I call this is the A-bomb. This little airplane one is the one that I'm working on now. This is called the Beast Raider. This bait works really good. This is, again, like a little glide bait.
All crafted from recycled wood.
Out of all this trash, someone's old fence that fell over, I could make, you know, a good amount of product.
Jesse starts with an old fence post. After sawing down pieces to rough size,
So this is a jointer, but just gonna give me one flat side.
he flattens each piece and also runs them through a planer to get each just to spec. Now comes the fancy machine.
Trying to make sure it's working right. So I'm cutting this Bass Champ lure out. So I have a left side, a right side.
A laser cuts and marks each bait.
It's an old fence post from the side of the road in Lakeville.
That runs for a bit while Jesse works on another batch.
Let's go through a lot of gloves.
Each bait he glues up consists of a skeleton and 2 sides.
So I have a mold for all these, for the lead.
He adds weight and rattles, and the glue sets instantly. Up next, a quick run on the sander.
Different gloves.
Jesse then follows that with a bit of polishing. This work takes just a couple seconds.
Pretty good.
Looks good to me, too. Now, the finishing touch, so to speak.
Obviously, part of my degree is in wood finishing, so it's like I know how to do this.
He dips the bait in diamond finish. It goes to the drying rack.
So you have the first coat on there.
Some designs eventually get airbrushed and dipped again. The end result? Fishing baits of most colorful design.
But this is what it all came from. Is this someone's old fence fell over.
The essence or DNA of all of Jesse's projects.
I don't need to get wood from halfway around the world to make something cool. I could go a couple blocks away and pick something up and make something cool out of it.
In this case, a curious bait that ends up on the end of his fishing line.
Oh,
He's a northern.
wait a second, was that 2 casts?
Yeah, score.
Score. The official slogan of Jesse, score.
Wood lures that catch both fish and our attention too.
Part of it is I make fishing baits out of wood, but part of it is I make fishing baits out of wood from here.
You will notice there is a military theme to many of Jesse's baits. That is his reflection of his time as a member of the U.S. Marine Corps.
That's right. Thank you, Jesse, for your service, and make sure to check out his baits right inside the Minnesota-bound log cabin.
All right, coming up next, you found a newer food booth here.
I did. It's a tasty treat that I don't know if you're gonna like it. I think it's a little bit more for Millie, to be honest. And that'll be when we come back. It's the Minnesota Bound State Fair Special.
Minnesota Bound is brought to you by Midwest Exteriors MN. Slow down, pay attention when driving. And by Totem Resorts, the premier destination for world-class fishing.
Welcome back to the Minnesota Bound State Fair Special. We all know there's tasty treats here at the fair, but what about something delicious for your canine companion? I found a unique dog bakery right here at the Pet Pavilion. We are here at Musty Ruff Dog Bakery, and I am here with Reggie Carter, the owner, founder. And Reggie, tell me what you have for sale here, because this looks delicious.
All right, we have the Ruff Cakes, the mini Ruff Cakes, the pumpkin bones, and the Kirby's donut.
And these are all homemade from scratch. You're baking all of these.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Are you willing to show us how you make that rough cake there?
Yeah, for sure. Let's go.
Let's hit the kitchen.
All right.
All right, Reggie, so we are in the kitchen where the magic takes place for your baking. And I understand we're gonna make some rough cakes today?
Absolutely.
Awesome. So all of these ingredients are dog friendly.
For sure.
What do we have here?
Peanut butter.
Excellent.
Xylitol free.
Xylitol free, yes. So peanut butter should be peanuts only if
Peanuts only.
if you're gonna try to cook for your dog at home.
That's right.
Okay,
That's
very
right.
important.
Applesauce, yogurt, eggs, carrots, whole wheat flour.
Sounds delicious. All right, what are the first steps getting started?
Let's start with the eggs.
Eggs go into our baking bowl.
Yes. Next, whole wheat flour.
Get some fiber in there for
Some
our pups.
fiber in there. Carrots, applesauce.
Little natural sweetener.
That's right. Yogurt.
Good probiotics.
That's right.
Those are critical for dogs.
Absolutely.
Especially my bulldog. All right.
And peanut butter.
I mean, this is like a crowd favorite in the canine world, isn't it?
It is.
Peanut butter. So are we ready for some mixing?
Yes, we are.
Excellent. All right, time for the stand mixer.
All right. Looking good. That's the consistency we want.
And all these ingredients are human grade food, obviously.
definitely.
So if
Yep.
you wanted to give it a taste test, you could.
Yeah, you definitely could. Okay, time to scoop them up. Make sure the consistency is right.
So why did you start a dog bakery?
Well, my family and I, we got our first family dog, Kirby the Doberman. And Kirby was gonna be the first dog that I ever had live in my house. I grew up on a farm down south. So I said, since Kirby's gonna be a part of the family, she might as well eat the way we do. And so I started researching different ingredients and things like that. So I figured if I cook everything for Kirby, maybe and hopefully she will live long like the dogs I grew up with on the farm.
And the dog bakery was born. This is the chef's secret right here. Get the air out of the batter.
That's right. We're gonna come out perfectly round. All right, Laura, I'm gonna go throw these in the oven quick. I'll be right back.
All right. Fresh out of the oven, they smell so delicious.
Yeah.
It is time for the secret frosting.
It is.
How'd you come up with frosting for a dog?
3 simple ingredients: peanut butter, yogurt, honey. We don't use any preservatives. You know, I wanted to keep it as natural and simple as possible when I was creating the recipes.
You are an expert at frosting, I'll tell you that.
There's the final touch. Put a little bone on each one.
All right, well, we've been away from your booth for a while, so I'm guessing you're probably almost sold out. We should get these back to the fair, you think?
Yes, I do.
All right, where can people find you?
People can find us in the Pet Pavilion at Machinery.
Okay. Homemade cupcakes for your dog. What a great idea. Don't forget to grab a rough cake for your pup back home. Reggie, thanks for having us.
Oh, thanks for stopping by, Laura. Your dog is Mr. Bacon, right?
It is Mr. Bacon.
Got a bacon donut for him.
Oh, he's gonna love that. And something tells me I need to keep this refrigerated.
Yes. Don't forget to refrigerate.
Refrigerate your rough cakes, and you can find them here at the Pet Pavilion. Those look pretty good, Millie? I think so. You know, they're safe for human consumption too, so you could probably try it out.
Maybe next year. Well, that about does it for us today. If you happen to get to the State Fair, we'll be here. Come and say hello. You can even take your picture with Millie, or at least sneak inside and see what's new in the cabin.
That's right, and that about does it for us. We'll see you back here next week.
And in the meantime, what do we always say? Don't forget to introduce a kid to the great outdoors.
Transportation provided by Premier Transportation. Call 1-800-899-7433.